Once upon a time, there was a great party at my house. Hi, I'm kind of laid up with some painfulness, so I'm here in a comfy spot, and you're just going to hear commentary from me. You're going to hear commentary from me and my beautiful map of Cape Cod. So, once upon a time, there was a marvelous gathering at my house, and some of the friends of the gathering showed up. There were two good friends, two women sister friends. And that was years ago. And over the past couple of years, both of them, almost at the same time, I only met them once in person here. Both of them seemed to get arrested by their people, their boyfriends, and marriages and babies and things are happening. And I just have felt very moved to talk to these two sister couples and explain the things that I discovered as a male human being that were missing. So, I was an anti Christian bigot. I was a pleasure chaser. I knew about the Bible, I knew about Jesus. God crashed in on me through showing me the proofs in 1994. It seems like there's only one human being in all history. Yes, it seems like there's only one human being in all history that has hundreds of predictions set in writings that point to him. No other set of writings has hundreds of absolutely clear prediction points. The Dead Sea Scrolls discovery in 1947 proves that Tanakh, the Hebrew scriptures, what you call the Old Testament, has never been tampered with in any major way. And that whole thing is an amazing story. I researched this stuff because I hadn't cared about it for a long time, and then something happened. The Koine Greek New Testament. Okay, well, what about the accounts of Jesus? They were just written down by human beings, and those human beings apparently wrote those things down between 30 and 60 years after he was gone. So, how can they possibly be really precise? Now, here's the weird thing that most intellectual debaters, maybe myself included, didn't consider, and that is if you back away from those two writings, the Hebrew scriptures and the Koine Greek New Testament, you've got a weird thing. If all those predictions about Messiah really did come true in one person, then maybe there is a power or a force or a being or an entity that was orchestrating all of those writings. And what if that power that actually orchestrated all those predictions in the writings of 20 or 30 people who didn't know each other stretched across 1,000 years, if that spirit power presence wanted to actually give clean information to the people who wrote down the information 30 to 60 years after Yeshua Jesus was gone, there is a realistic and powerful possibility that the writings that hold the predictions and the writings that report supernatural Jesus of Nazareth and the first peoples to receive his supernatural powers, which we ordinarily refer to as the Old Testament and the New Testament. What if there has been a spirit being over all this stuff? The Koine Greek New Testament is the most duplicated book before the printing press in the 1400s. Found all over the world. Entire copies and fragments of copies from China and the Balkans to Africa and England and everywhere. Everywhere. Including India. They have found over close to 3,000 copies of the Koine Greek New Testament. And they have like 3 copies of Socrates and 5 copies of Plato from before the printing press. You understand, like, by the time the printing press comes, we can actually make copies of the copies that were discovered. So, that was the proof. I mean, that weird thing written down in a creative way blew my mind. Opened my mind and heart to God. I was like, why are you paying attention to me? I don't like you. I don't like your people. I don't like your book. I can feel that you're real now. How come I'm being aware that you're real? And what I heard is, you're going to have the guts to talk about it. I do all this stuff that you don't like, all the stuff that is negative that you've done. It will be used as trophies because you will have the courage to speak about it. So this is a gutsy trophy move. So I settle into churches. I've done a 24-year tour of the church mess in America. But check this out. Okay, let's cut to the chase here. Here's the bottom line. I myself alone discovered Leviticus 15. Probably in 1994 or 95. When I read that chapter of Leviticus, I had kind of been reading Leviticus and thinking, I'm going to find the love in Leviticus. Like the place where it says, if a man lies with a woman who is not promised to another man, and they enjoy each other, they should be married. Unless her father absolutely objects. But the man who has enjoyed her still has to pay the bride price because the woman is so immensely valuable. To me, what that means is, if 2 people enjoy each other together, I, God, can make a bubble around them and keep them together and help them not be confused about some other person, and they can just have a desire for one another, and that can remain that way for the rest of their lives. So what sounds like if you have sex, you've bought the store, you're forced into being married, it sounds like that. But in fact, if you're realizing what the spirit realm is, you're realizing there's a spirit that's higher than all visible things. And that one's actually sweet enough to just have you know one another and then keep the 2 of you together. That's kind of cool. So I'm reading and I'm reforming the ideas of the laws of Leviticus, looking for the love in Leviticus. And I read this Leviticus 15, and the moment that I read it, it just wipes me out. It's like my most important discovery. Now, when I was reading this thing, I had been with one girlfriend a long time. She and I both went out with different people and came back together various times. But I had been with one girlfriend consistently for the better part of 18 years, and we were married for like 6. And so when I read this thing, I thought, wow, the women are responsible to just let the family know. The family is responsible to know when the woman is in her cycle. And it's for blessing. Untouchable does not mean evil. It means heads up, something's going on. Hey, be aware. So when the woman's in her cycle, she's untouchable until 7 days have passed. If the man releases his seed, so you got the flow of the woman, the flow of the man. The woman has a flow for 5 to 7 days. The man has a flow for a moment. But when the man has flow, then he announces to the family and he lets them know that he's untouchable until the next sundown. And that might not be something like aware, alarming, but when you think about it, here's the great thing. Pretend you're a funky, happy Jewish family that's got 6 or 8 kids, okay? And you're following these. This is the law of God. This is God, our friend, who knows our physiology and our minds. And also, you got Jesus, who's a super Jew, who was raised up in a family, and you got Paul, who is a super Jew raised up in a Jewish family. Then you got the 12 fishermen, who are basically more just kind of working class people and possibly not as much of a super Jew. But the point is this: there's 4 parts to Leviticus 15. One person who has a running sore, something oozing out of their body, has to declare to people, hey, I'm untouchable. If the woman's in her cycle, even if it only lasts for 5 days, she's untouchable for 7 days. The man, if he has a flow of his seed, he is untouchable until the next sundown. And then lastly, if the woman and man are together and there is a flow of seed, she is untouchable in the same way that the man is. So this is cool because there's an emotional check-in here, an emotional awareness. This is amazing. The woman, so you picture, you're in a family. How are you going to run this in a happy, happy family? Here's what's going to happen. The kids are going to say, Mommy, how come you're untouchable and Sheila's untouchable? Because we have the mommy body. We have the mommy body that catches the seed and makes it grow. We're the special place. Our body is super, super strong to nurture life and give supply, give milk. We are the special gift. The woman body is the special gift that God made. He made everything and he said, it is good, it is good, it is good. And then he made man and he said, it is not good. And then he made woman, the woman form, and he said, it is very good. So we are a very good form. And when we're untouchable, it's just our time when our body is being reset and prepared for maybe another baby. And so the whole family respects the body of the woman. So then, if brother so-and-so says, I'm untouchable to the next